Hey everybody, another edition of Off the Top Rope here off the Mike Sports Network. I want to talk about Mercedes Mone, um, a topic that has been very divisive in the community and very divisive, on this channel. And let me get this out of the way. And I've said this consistently, and I've been consistent with this. I think the world of Mercedes is a wrestler. I think the world of her talent. I think the world of what she's done for the industry. And, I don't think women's wrestling, the story of women's wrestling and where it is today cannot be told without the contributions of Mercedes Varnado, Sasha Banks. But in this iteration of Mercedes Moné, and now it's past 300 days, I think I saw a statistic that is more than the 6 world title reigns that she had in WWE combined. But here's the reality of the situation. I would take any one of those reigns over whatever the fuck this is in AEW, because at least this meant something. At least what she did in WWE actually meant something because it was an actual story and actually compelling stuff. She's just beating a bunch of people. She's just beating a bunch of people, and it's an ego boost. And it's never been more apparent to me that, like I said, I'm not dismissing Mercedes, the wrestler, the talent. Mercedes, the person, the talent, the person, the not the character, but just who she is outside of the wrestling sphere. And I have respect for her for what she's done for the business, like I said. But it has never become more apparent to me how much of a phony Mercedes is. She is an absolute phony. And any one of her stands who think that she actually even gives a flying fuck, which is embarrassing, by the way, that she cares about anybody but herself, is ridiculous. Let me read you guys this quote from her Money Mag, her whole thing that she wrote earlier this week, or over the weekend. I can't even remember what this is. So she basically says, hey, it's been a year. So she goes, can you believe it? It's been a year since I embarked on this incredible journey with AEW. Time truly does fly by. I can confidently say this has been one of the most transformative years of my career. AEW has reignited my fire, passion, and deep-seated love for this sport. It has been a beacon of hope for me, and I am endlessly grateful to AEW and Tony Khan for this opportunity. Okay, that is a bunch of bullshit. A bunch of bullshit. What? Reignited your fire? You know what they did? They lined your fucking pockets. They lined your pockets. That's what this is. They gave you everything that you wanted. Everything that you wanted. Because WWE didn't want to do it because they saw talent in you, but they didn't see enough to warrant the investment that Tony Khan is giving you and all of the creative control. And you have seen, and the Mercedes marks, the money marks are just going to, come out in full force and attack me in this and say that I'm full of shit. But guys, can you tell me one honest to God beneficial thing that Mercedes Moné has done in 1 year in AEW? Nothing. Except win a bunch of matches, win a bunch of championships, and have all the control over it. She's running out of people to compete with. She beat Willow Nightingale to get her win back in the first, and Willow had a 1-month title reign. Willow deserved that championship for longer than that. That was the first moment where I was like, okay, this may actually not go well for AEW. And this women's division is a joke. We are now at the point of we're forcing Athena from Ring of Honor just up to the main roster earlier than we should because there is nobody else left for Mercedes to beat. Nobody. And if you really wanted to grow the women's division, you would actually invest in trying to tell some stories rather than just do a bunch of these matches and show off the talent that you have as a professional wrestler, which, by the way, I am not dismissing that. I think she has been an outstanding professional wrestler. She has had some of the best matches of her career in AEW. The Chris Statlander stuff was outstanding. She's had some really good bangers. She's carried some people in some, like, even some people like Harley Cameron and Billy Stark to some good matches. But nobody's going to remember that. All they're going to remember is she's carrying 4 belts around and, does her weird dance, has her cringeworthy song. She's had control of everything. And it has gone completely wrong, and it has drastically affected her legacy. So when I read a quote like her saying that this has reignited my passion, that is a bunch of bullshit. That is a bunch of bullshit. Because we all know what this is. She got all the money she wanted. She got all the power and creative control that she wanted. And hey, she's sitting on the throne. She's running things. And good for her. More power to her. She got paid. But I'm not going to sit here and just like let things go by while this women's division is a joke and there are, maybe less talented people in the ring in WWE like a Tiffany Stratton or less experienced people like a Tiffany Stratton who feel like much bigger deals because they've actually had stuff that's meant shit on television in the last year, more so than this 300-day title reign that Mercedes Mone has had. She's literally held the championship for almost her entire run in AEW. The only thing, it took her 2 months to get in her first match. It's just like, what has she done that has benefited? Of course, she's going to say it reignited my passion. She's gotten everything that she's wanted. She hasn't lost. She's had every single creative bit of control. She's done everything that she's wanted to do. So of course she's going to say all of that because she's got somebody in her corner in Tony Khan who's such a mark and doesn't see right through the fact that he is cleaning her. She is cleaning. I can't even talk. She is cleaning him out, cleaning his wallet out. And he's got so much money that he doesn't even bother to care. I've got Mercedes Moné. WWE is laughing about this because they're like, we saw this from a mile away. We think she's great in the right environment. If you have no control over her, she's going to run roughshod. And no pun intended, this is going to be literally like Hulk Hogan. Sister, instead of brother, sister. That doesn't work for me, sister. Like, that's literally what this is. And I've been saying this for months on this channel. And when I read that quote, I'm just like, what in the fuck are we talking about? She faced Momo Watanabe, who's a great Japanese professional wrestler, but is not even under contract with AEW. How in the fuck does her beating Momo Watanabe on AEW pay-per-view do anything for AEW whatsoever? It is all about lining her ego. And that is what this is. She is an absolute phony. She does not care. She cares about herself. And she said, hey, it reignited my passion. Of course it did. You got everything you wanted. You've validated whatever ego or whatever you've gotten. It's like, hey, you think you're a success because you've had a longer singular title reign than the 6 that you had in WWE. I would rather have the 6 you had in WWE, even if you barely had a title defense for most of them. That title run that you had that was ended by Bianca Belair, that did more for the business than anything you've done in the last year. I'll say that right away. And I think there's a lot of people that would agree with me on that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.